Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and welcome everyone to this training, Toastmasters branded public relationing. And this is one topic where all of us need constant learning because the goalposts are being moved by Toastmasters constantly. And if if I'm allowed to say that, things are being made tougher because of the new brand manual. Initially, it looked like that they simplified things, that made things easy. But the more we got into the brand manual and the more we got into the implications, we discovered that they'd taken away more things than given. But again, that's part of the whole creative effort. And all of us who are here, despite the fact that we may not be VPPRs or may not be the PRMs, but all of us have some sort of creativity. And the creativity is best exercised when it is exercised under limitations. Let me give you an example. And I believe that will illustrate the situation regarding the brand manual and the limitations. You know, when Rolls-Royce's designers design a car, they don't have any limits. They don't have a pricing limit. They don't have a size limit. Yes, they do have some limits to work out regarding the fuel consumption of the engine and everything, but they outsource those worries to those people who are making the engines for them, which is BMW. So they are focused on the design. They're focused on providing as many customization options as possible. They spend billions of years and they design a car, and that car is the world standard in terms of luxury, noise, vibration, height, harshness, in terms of design, in terms of opulence, and then they charge $500,000 for that. So where's the fun in that? By contrast, see something like Toyota Corolla or Volkswagen Golf, or even Suzuki Alto. Do you think any less effort goes into designing those cars? No. In fact, even more effort goes into designing those cars. Teams from around the world, and I know this for a fact, multiple design studios work with each other to develop a single design because that car has to be sold in multiple markets. And it's not as if, for example, the Rolls-Royce's latest model will sell according to the budgeted numbers, no matter how it looks. If it can be the ugliest cars in the world, and it will still sell. But Suzuki, Toyota, Honda don't have that luxury. They are competing with each other. Billions of dollars are spent on designing around those performance envelopes. Billions of dollars are spent designing the specifications, providing the most value for money, while staying within the price bracket. So I respect and salute that effort far more because ultimately that's what ends up in the hands of the common person. Ultimately, millions of those cars provide transportation and mobility to billions of people around the world while proving affordable, while proving reliable, and that is what makes a difference in this world. So designers have to work within limitations if they are to really, really display their creative skills. And all of us, including myself, have repeatedly expressed disdain and even irritation with the Toastmasters whole design language. My favorite insult for that is that it looks like, it reminds me of my school textbook from the 80s. And yes, it does. But, you know, it's all in here, how you use it. I've seen examples from District 122 and beyond that put those tools to amazing use. And ultimately, that's what it's all about. It's not about the limitations that you have. It's about how you utilize the tools that you have to come up with design ideas. And there's also another logic which is very, very pertinent to all of us. A Toastmasters material has to look like a Toastmasters material, no matter where it is. Just like a Toyota has to look like a Toyota in order to be identifiable as a Toyota. So all of the Toyotas have certain design cues they have to stick with. So same is the case with Toastmasters branding. Toastmasters is a worldwide discipline and it has to stick to branding guidelines in order to reinforce the visual identification and in order to reinforce the brand. If we deviate from it, if we bring out our own variants, for example, if we bring out our own variants, logos for the club, what will it do is that it may form a local identity that is strong, but it won't be tying in into any of the Toastmasters stuff that is present on the net and around the world. And ultimately, as custodians of the Toastmasters brand, and make no mistake, all of us are custodians of the Toastmasters brand, we are doing it a disservice by diluting it. So today's session is all about compliance with the Toastmasters branding guidelines and finding new and fun ways to come up with Toastmasters branding material. Today we have an illustrious panel of speakers, and before that I'll hand over the charge to shed some light on the subject to our Public Relations Manager, Toastmaster Ahmed Sajjad Zadi. Over to you, Toastmaster Ahmed.
Thank you so much, PQD Talha. Welcome to the webinar, everyone. Now, we are going through the COVID-19 pandemic, and it has affected every single one of us in various ways. Economically, it has had quite an impact, and it is a tough time to be around, and we miss all those physical meetings that we used to go to. We miss all the events that we used to go to. And now we're sort of trapped online. However, it is also a great opportunity in so many ways. So we have visited clubs which we wouldn't even dream of before. We have some amazing people such as our panelist, PRM Safraz Sheikh from District 104. He is able to join us and deliver and share his experience, his knowledge. And this is all possible because of this pandemic. So there is a bright side to it. There is a lot that we can take advantage of, that we can look forward to. Similarly, most of businesses, most organizations are realizing how important it is to have your digital strategy thought out properly, to have your campaigns managed properly. And this is a great opportunity where this is a must now, that we have to know how to do this, how to create good content, how to create engaging content, and how to manage websites, how to market that material as part of your brand. So in this webinar, we hope that we have some amazing speakers, and we hope that you will have a lot to take away from it. So with that, let's start with our first speaker. Toastmaster Kamar, are you there?
Yes, PRM Ahmed, I'm here.
Okay, are you ready to go?
Yes, ready to go.
Sorry, Toastmaster Kamar, first of all, it is amazing to hear your voice again. And it is so good to have you back. It is so good to be reminded that you're still part of the Toastmasters community. Because
Thank you,
everyone, Toastmaster Kamar Shiraz was our PRM for the first year, for the historic year that we had in 2019-20. And he was every bit a part of the history that we made in our first year, including achieving Smedley Distinguished, including being the #2 district in the world, including having record growth. Do you all think that would have been possible without a coordinated public relations effort? Absolutely not. And not only Toastmaster Kamar Shiraz led that effort, but we had Toastmaster Ahmed Sajjad Zadi also by his side during the past entire year. So these two individuals have been driving our PR effort, and the results are before you. So my sincere gratitude to Toastmaster Kamar. Despite your personal engagements, you have agreed to conduct this session. And before we start, Toastmaster Imran Rana, remember that you had volunteered to be the timer. So there won't be conventional timing because that doesn't look nice. What the timer will do is time individual sessions, and then when the time is over, they will uh, make a small interruption and ask the speaker to wind up their talk. That will be the indication that their allotted time is over. So with that, please put your hands, virtual or real hands, together for Toastmaster Kamar Shiraz.
Okay, so thank you so very much, PQD Talha, for the kind words. And I am, and I was, and I will always be a part of Toastmaster, and especially this District 122 TC, which is very close to my heart. So Talha, if you could allow me to share my screen, I want to share the presentation that I've made.
Let me make you the co-host, and there you are.
Okay, so yes, I hope everyone can see my screen. Okay.
Yes.
So myself, Kamar Shiraz, I am the immediate past public relations manager of District 122. And today we are going to talk about the brand manual, and which is one of the most crucial element in the role of a BPPR. And I would like to welcome all the BPPR in this training of brand manual, and all the guests who have joined us in this training. So first of all, PQD Talha has already mentioned about the importance of branding and the role brands play in our lives. And here is one of the definition of brand that I've taken from Wikipedia, that a brand is a name, a term, a design, symbol, or any other feature that identifies one seller's good or services as distinct from those of other sellers. But I'm going to show you a better definition, which is also close to my heart. And this is by Uberlo. This says that branding is a process of creating a strong positive perception of a company, its products or services in the customer's mind, combining such elements as logo, design, mission statement, and a consistent theme throughout all marketing communication. Now, PQD Talha has already mentioned about the brands and the role they play in our lives. And all these brands that you see in front of you, they are all part of our lives. And we can instantly recognize them without even, having seen their full text. We can recognize what brand they are. And today we are going to talk about the importance of branding in Toastmasters, and specifically from the brand manual. So what we are going to cover in this presentation: number one, the brand platform; number two, the visual guidelines; number three, the resources which are available to us; and the frequently asked questions. So these four things we are going to cover in today's presentation. So now I'm going to move on to our brand manual. So I hope you can see the brand manual. Everyone?
No, I can see the slide, what we will cover.
Okay. Now I hope you are able to see the brand manual.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So before starting off with the brand manual, I would like to ask you, how many of you have already been through the brand manual? Raise of hands. Okay. Okay. I just see 2-3 people who have been through this brand manual. 4 people. Okay. Okay. Now, as a BPPR, it's very important that you go through the brand manual not only once, but multiple times. And especially, I would recommend you to take printouts of the brand manual and keep it handy with you always, especially when you are designing something, or especially when you are communicating an important message on behalf of the club that you are representing. The brand manual contains everything that you need. And today in this presentation, we are just going to have an overview of this brand manual so that you get an idea of the things and the elements which are mentioned in the brand manual. And the very first thing that I would like to share with you is the brand platform. Now, the brand platform consists of 5 elements. Number 1 is the tagline. And the tagline of Toastmasters is where leaders are made. And we all know that. And the core values, the brand promise. We all know the core values and the brand promise, which is empowering individuals through personal and professional development. And the brand promise, which is to encompass all aspects of growth for the members. And the fourth one is the personality, how the personality of Toastmasters reflects. So this is very important, that throughout our communication, we need to ensure that the brand personality of Toastmasters is being communicated. And then one of the most important elements is the voice and tone, which is one of confidence and compassion. It should be clear yet respectful. It is friendly yet professional. Our tone is very positive, upbeat, and enthusiastic. It is serious when necessary, and it is open to exchange. So this is the part of the brand platform of Toastmasters International. So here is all the detail of voice and tone checklist. And we need to ensure that whatever communication we are doing, whether internal or external, our voice and tone should be warm, should be clear, should be friendly, professional, second, respectful, universally understandable, and internationally friendly. Now, most of you already know that this brand manual that you see in front of you is the new brand manual that Toastmaster has launched, I think 2 months back. And when I was the PRM, there was another brand manual, but this one, this one is much better than the previous one, and this is also precise and to the point. And the next point is the visual guidelines, which is the most important part of any brand. And the number one thing, yes, you guessed it right, which is the logo. So logo is an integral part of the visual identity of Toastmaster. And we need to ensure that we apply it correctly and consistently to accelerate the engagement and raise the organization's credibility, and obviously to improve the organization awareness for generations to come. So here are all the things that you need to take care of whenever you are doing any kind of communication. So you see here the minimum size that you should be using is 72 pixels on the web, and on the print 3.5 inches. So we need to ensure that we use the right logo for our communication. So here are all the logos that are available to download. It's toastmaster.org/logos. So we are going to, I'm also going to go through the resources that are available to us. And then we have our logo Wordmark. So it's just a Toastmasters International. And we need to ensure whether we are using the logo or the logo Wordmark. We need to ensure that there should be a clear space around the logo and the Wordmark. And the same goes for the minimum size of the logo Wordmark. And here are all the logos and the logo Wordmark that you can use and download from this link. So logo lockups. So here are multiple ways through which you can use the logo. And you can also write your district name over here, and you can obviously use your creativity. And there is much flexibility, obviously, and these are the ways, so many ways through which you don't have to use the logo. So obviously, because it distorts the brand image of Toastmasters, and you need to ensure that you are using the right logo in your communication. So these are all the ways that you don't have to use the logos. And another important thing, which is also one of the crucial part of Toastmasters, is that Toastmasters says that clubs should not have their own individual logos. So the clubs all over the world should use the Toastmasters International logo throughout their communication. It's only the district annual conferences that are allowed to create their own logos, the only exception in Toastmasters. In all other communication, you are going to use the Toastmasters International logo. So here is the color palette, and this is true maroon, loyal blue, and cool gray. Now, obviously, it all depends on our creativity, how we use the combination of the logos and the color palette, and the end result of the communication should represent that this is something coming from Toastmasters International, and this is the accent color, which is happy yellow. So here are the pathway logos which we can use when we are communicating regarding pathways, and these logos are also available at the same link. So here are all the pathways badges which you can also download from the same link. So the fonts. Now, obviously, all the brands that you see all over the world and your favorite brands, they use a very specific logos throughout their brand communication. And the Toastmaster uses these fonts throughout their brand communication. And we need to ensure whatever poster we are making, or even on our websites, we need to ensure that we are using these fonts, which are obviously representing Toastmaster International. For headlines and subheads, we should be using the Gotham font. For our body copy, for collateral, we should be using the Myrate Pro. And here are some of the examples. Obviously, we can use either the black or the bold or semi-bold, regular and light, depending on our creativity. We can use it in so many ways. And here's an alternative for this font Myrate Pro, which is Source Sans Pro. And also this is available in the resources as well. So we need to ensure that these two fonts we are consistently using in all our communication. So here are so many images and photography that we can use throughout our posters and throughout the promotion that we are doing for our club. And all these resources, you can, this is the brand portal of Toastmaster, and you can access it from there, www.toastmaster.org/brand portal. So you are going to see everything in this brand portal, from cards design to letterheads and posters and PowerPoint templates and email signatures. So you are going to find everything. And in the stationery as well, you are going to find these things. Standards and procedure, which is obviously trademark use request, and different trademark requests for club, area, division, and officer, candidate, and all levels and individual members. So obviously, because of this pandemic, we are using this video stuff. So we are going to ensure that video guidelines are being met in Toastmasters. And these are the district or club video guidelines that we should be following. So obviously the apparel guidelines and the website guidelines. So I highly recommend that today or tomorrow, you must definitely go through this brand manual in detail, as much detail as you can. So the most important thing that I wanted to share with you is this frequently asked question. Now, I'm sure you have so many questions in your mind, but if you go through the frequently asked question section, you are going to see that the most common questions are being answered in this frequently asked question. For example, can clubs and districts create their own logo, which we have already covered. So if I remove the logo from my material, can I use different colors, fonts and or elements? No, as all Toastmaster materials, we must follow the guidelines specified in the brand manual. So here are all the questions that we should be going through. And if you have any question in regards to the brand manual, you can approach PRM Ahmed Sajjad Zaidi, or you can also email the Toastmaster International brand team at brand@toastmaster.org. So as a VPPR, we should ensure that we are following the Toastmaster International branding guideline. So obviously, at the end of the day, what will matter is how good you are portraying the brand image of Toastmaster International. And ultimately, at the end of the year, when the awards will be announced, the clubs with the best branding and the best branding guidelines will be the winners of the branding. So we need to ensure that we are following the brand guidelines of Toastmaster International. After all, we are all part of Toastmaster, and it's our responsibility to ensure that we are following the legacy of Toastmasters International. With this, thank you so much, everyone, for listening patiently. And now I would like to hand over the meeting to our PQD, Talha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kamar Shiraz. Sincere gratitude to you for explaining the new brand manual in such detail. It clearly shows that not only you went through the manual, but you have digested it, and it only makes sense. But you know what? This one presentation alone, no matter how brilliant it was, and it was brilliant, it's not enough for all the VPPRs here to be fully aware of what the brand manual requires. As Toastmaster Kamar Shiraz suggested, please make a printout of it or have it on your phone or any device and recite it daily, because you have to memorize it. Not for what you can do, but not for what you cannot do. I myself experienced it that, sometimes one forgets the don'ts in this manual, and then it doesn't result in a document that is fully reflecting the Toastmasters ethos. So our next session will be by me, and it is scheduled to be a 30-minute session, and it is meant for detailing ways and means to create content. And since I'm not a professional graphic designer, and since I don't know how to use all the fancy programs, this is the perfect session for noobs, because I am one. And together we will learn how to create Toastmasters branded material using the tools that we have and use every day. So I will be sharing my screen, and my time starts now, because previous one was the introduction to the session. So Toastmaster Imran, please make note. Okay. Okay, and I'd like the permission to share my screen.
Toastmaster Talha,
Yes.
did you say something?
Yeah, I said that please start my timing now.
Just a minute, just a minute, just a minute.
Toastmaster Kamar, can you please enable, either make me the co-host or enable screen sharing?
So your presentation takes how long?
It's half an hour.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Toastmaster Kamar, can you enable screen sharing for me? Okay. Yes. Okay. So once again, hello everyone, and I'll be sharing a small presentation. And this presentation, I hope everyone can see my screen, the PowerPoint one.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I have been doing this PR work for the district and for my club for 3 or 4 years now. And PowerPoint is the only tool I know, and that is good news for you, because everything that you saw in the brand manual, every tip that Toastmaster Kamar Shiraz gave can be executed through a tool as simple as PowerPoint. Trust me, you don't need Photoshop, you don't need any other software, you don't need Lightroom, you don't need Illustrator. 90% of your needs can be met by PowerPoint. And why do I insist on PowerPoint? Because, okay, I insist on PowerPoint because it is a software of amazing flexibility. Did you know that PowerPoint can work with vector graphics? Did you know that PowerPoint can export to video? Did you know that PowerPoints can, any graphic in PowerPoint that you create can be exported to a vector format and used in any other software? Did you also know that PowerPoint provides transparency effects? It also provides a beginner's tool for cropping out the outlines of pictures. It does all that and much more. Truly, the limits of PowerPoint are endless, and it has grown. I don't know how many people use it for presentations anymore, because for me at least, it's my primary graphics program. Absurd as it may sound, uh, hopefully in a few minutes you will see what I mean. So first of all, what do you need as a VPPR? What do you need? The set of tools. You need Microsoft Office, which can be accessed free on the internet as an online software, or it costs $99 per year, but it enables 6 licenses with them. So 6 people can use Microsoft Office, and that does not just include PowerPoint. It includes Word, Excel, Access, Publisher, whatnot. So going forward, maybe areas can consider buying this software for or taking a license for 1 year, $99 per year, because or maybe divisions can consider it, because it is truly worthwhile. It has a genuine copy of PowerPoint, and it has Publisher, so it has all the tools you need for public relationing. But again, if you're not interested in buying that, you can use the one that comes with your office laptop, or you can use the online version. Secondly, as Toastmaster Kamar also mentioned, Gotham and Myriad Pro fonts. These are extremely necessary. Without these fonts, your documents or posters or presentations will not that have signature Toastmasters look. Fonts matter. And be sure to download all the variants of these fonts, because that will provide you with enough creative freedom to achieve any effect that you want. Toastmasters color palette, that is given in the manual, but there are online versions available of it. Toastmaster resource library, it is accessible to every Toastmaster. You just need to log in and click on resources, and there it is. And of course, you need creativity. Now, before we try to create something out of these tools, let's explore what the tools we have. First, we have font size. For example, this has another effect, this has another effect, and this has another. Okay, so you can all see this is for headings and this is for text, right? Font variant. Now we talked about variant, but you'll be shocked, because see, this is the main Gotham font, and this is the bold version. This is the non-bold version. Then this is Gotham Black. And the beauty of Gotham Black is that it appears very thick and heavy without occupying any more space than standard Gotham. If you don't believe me, see where my mouse pointer is. I'm switching back to standard Gotham, and the exact same space is being occupied. So that's the merit of Gotham Black. It provides you with a much bolder look without expanding space and without looking ugly, because it has been designed that way. Then there's another variant of Gotham which I particularly like. It is Gotham X Lite. It is a very thin, very elegant version of Gotham, which you can use to create various variations within the same poster, within the same documents. And then there's Gotham Condensed. Wait a minute. Okay, I don't have Gotham Condensed installed on my system, but condensed version of any font is a narrowed down version of a font. It is thinner and more narrowed down. You'll find condensed version of most of the fonts that are available. So next, our tool is capitalization. So see how this looks versus how this looks. So you have all these variants. There's so many ways to present normal text, even, and notice that I haven't changed the font at all. So we are within the Toastmasters envelope. Contrast between thick and thin. Now this is where it gets interesting. See, because if I make this thin and make this, you have a certain effect. So for example, let's say where leaders are made. So this is not correct. This is not going to, Toastmasters does not allow where leaders are made to be presented in that. But how about, for example, Toastmasters. Now, within the same font, and just by a little variation, we have created something that is not a logo, but it has a distinct visual identity. And you can use this visual identity anywhere in your document. It will create a singular visual identity, because Toastmaster does not allow creation of logos, but it does not forbid various font treatments. It does not forbid experiments with size and font types. So you cannot define your club logo. In fact, you can logo. It only has to be exactly according to the Toastmasters font guidelines. Then you can use transparency. Now, how do you use transparency? Because if you see in the new manual, in fact, there's a lot of emphasis on transparency. So this is the Toastmasters color palette that I was talking about, and please keep this by your side while you're creating documents, no matter what software you're working on, because this is sort of your Bible for the Toastmasters colors. Let me show you how. If I plan to fill this shape, and I want one of the Toastmasters color, I'll use the eyedropper tool, which is there in PowerPoint, and I'm sure, I bet that many of you did not know that PowerPoint also had an eyedropper tool. So you now have an exact Toastmaster compliant rectangle, or maybe this one, or maybe this one, right? So these are all standard Toastmasters colors. But you know what? And please don't use this version of red, because this version, the bright red, is no longer part of the Toastmasters color palette. So you will find internet documents which has this color, but it's no longer. Now the magic starts, because transparency is what lends a special touch. See, this is PowerPoint slide that we have been seeing since our childhoods. White text against blue background. There are so many ways, in fact, to add visual interest to this. If I just add transparency here, see what happens. With just a few seconds, it becomes something entirely different. We can go even further, because Toastmaster does not forbid the use of color variants. So if you look at the Zoom background currently being used by Toastmaster Ahmed Sajjad, it is in the standard Toastmasters color, but it appears to be in different colors. How is that? Let me show you how. See, these are, if you select gradient coloring, okay. Now I've switched from solid color to gradient color. And remember, gradient colors can have unlimited number of gradients, but Toastmaster does not allow blending of one gradient color to another, although Toastmaster itself does that in some documents, but we are not allowed to do that. Anyhow, so let's see the magic of gradients, because this is very interesting. See, this is the same, if you can see my mouse pointer, it is the same exact Toastmasters blue, navy blue that we use. But what if we change one of the colors? What if we change its brightness? And that's a trick Toastmasters uses, and that's a trick Toastmasters has used in creating the Zoom background that is currently being used by PRM Ahmed Sajjad Zadi. See this? It's the exact same color, but it's brighter. So we are not disobeying the guidelines of Toastmasters. We are within those guidelines, and now we can select the gradient type, radial, and we can select this. And where have we seen this? We have seen this in the standard color banner template that Toastmaster issues. So this is how they have achieved it. And to make it even prettier, we can add various levels of transparency to it. So a little transparency here, a little transparency there, and see the level of visual interest that has suddenly appeared in this plain white, plain blue background. So transparency is a tool that is not only used in brand manual repeatedly, but it adds lots of visual interest. Then we have word effects. There are certain word effects that we can use that are given in PowerPoint. So for example, we can create an outline. We can remove the fill from the text and we can just create outline like this. And again, that is strictly within Toastmasters guidelines. It doesn't allow it, but it hasn't disallowed it. We sent a few documents containing this effect and they did not object on this. So this is one of the effects that you can achieve. And again, when you're faced with the challenge of placing a lot of text on a single slide, then you can use all these effects to change things up. I've already detailed color variants. You can use this bright and dark. So if you can even make it darker. So for example, you darken this blue, this blue, this blue until it's almost black. Again, you're sticking to the Toastmasters branding guidelines, but you are actually creating so much visual interest while within staying the guidelines. So, and then we have character and line spacing. So for example, let me just get rid of all that. For example, I want to create a promo, a poster for table topics speech contest, okay? And it has to be a poster like this. Now, I capitalize it all, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with it, but don't you think that as an event heading, it's too far apart? So what if I want to squeeze it a little bit? So I'll go to format and paragraph, and I'll set the spacing to 0.8 or 0.85 and see the effect that it has. See, it brings much more visual coherence to the heading without violating any of the guidelines and without you doing any of particular effort. See, there's also another effect, and that can also be used to add great visual interest, that is font spacing. So character spacing, you can have an expanded character spacing, which I like to use. So for example, you can use this. You can even space it more. So for example, 8 points. See, so same font size, but completely different appearance. I can also squeeze. I can go to character spacing. I go to condensed. I go to condensed by, let's say, 2 points. And you have a little more condensed. So if you want to balance out your structures that you're building onto a poster, then these are all the techniques that you can use. And you're free according to the branding guidelines. Toastmaster Imran, how much time do I have?
You have 15 minutes.
I have 15 minutes. Okay, fine.
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually the world premiere, something that I had been saving it a little bit as a pleasant surprise to all of you. But see, Toastmaster Linda Marie Miller will be coming to our district on October 26th, and she will be delivering a webinar on speaking with the greatest impact. So now that you know, first of all, mark your calendars, and secondly, I want to use this as a way to take you through the process that I create a poster with while staying with the guidelines. So see this heading, the stage is yours. This is where I've used character spacing. It's the same Gotham X-like font. It's nothing fancy, but the effect it is having is quite unique. Then secrets from a champion, speaking with the greatest impact. So again, lots of text, lots of different data that I have to somehow reproduce on the same poster. So you adapt different styles for it. Secrets from a champion, again, is the standard Toastmasters burgundy color. And speaking with the greatest impact, this is again the same color, but different font size and different font type. So the appearance is that these two headings are connected with each other and yet somewhat distinct. So this is the effect that we are going for. And in fact, this is the effect that Toastmasters is going for. Thanks to the color palette, all of the materials should appear interconnected while having visual interest. This is also the standard Toastmaster navy blue. And sorry, okay, this is a transparent white box. If you can see, this is how it used to be, okay? But if I let it remain like that, what will happen? It's cutting off Linda's chin, right? And it doesn't look nice. It's looking like an interruption in the whole thing. So just a little bit of transparency and see the magic. So you can read it and still it's not interrupting anything. Then how did I integrate this picture? Because this is the picture I picked up from the internet, right? This is what the picture is, okay? And this was the original picture. Let me show you the original picture. Actually, the picture was much bigger. It was like this. But if I had fit it on this slide, it would have taken most of the slide. So I got a little creative. I cut off a few centimeters to the right to make the picture fit the slide and still leave space for this text. And then what I did was that I simply picked up the background color of this picture and selected it for the slide background. So actually, this is the real picture. You can see the division. Let me just show you. Yes, you can see the division between the picture and the slide very clearly, right? And yes, I could leave it like this, but it would look odd, won't it, if I leave it like this, because there's no cohesion. Picture is separate, the slide is separate, and the text is all floating without any purpose and intersecting between the two lines. You have to, when you do this a lot, you develop an eye for visual harmony and the way things make you feel. So a simple trick is to actually match the slide background with the picture background, and you guessed it, the magic eyedropper tool. This is the most important tool for any graphic designer, and graphic designers know that. You pick up the eyedropper tool, you select Linda's picture's background, and voila, there you are. You have a perfectly harmonious background that is completely in harmony with the picture. So you have the background picture and you have the fonts, you have everything. And you see in the brand manual, they're using these lines quite a lot. This is one of the new innovations, and I really, really like it because these are not ordinary frames. These are actually broken frames they're using to create some visual interest. These are not neat frames within which you can enclose things. So, for example, if you look at this visual background, this is the Zoom background provided by Toastmasters. And remember one thing, anything that forms part of the official materials of Toastmasters, that means that it can be done, it is allowed. So you see a blurred out, tastefully blurred out picture. and you see a rectangle that is accented. So again, you can create a rectangle like this and give it an accent, and it will take like no fill. You can give it a thick outline like this, and you can give it the standard Toastmaster color, and then you can make the outline even thicker. So right now it's 6 points, I can make it 18 points, and yes, it's now almost as thick as the one in the template. And then you wouldn't know that, I only discovered it recently. You can even color the lines and gradients too. So for example, in order to exactly match it, I can pick up the color from the eyedropper tool here, and the second color is also from here. And now it's the exact same thing, right? Now, let me ask you one thing. How many of you imagined that you would be able to create an exact replica of this in PowerPoint? I bet very few. But the story does not end there, because see, there's a break in here, and PowerPoint is not good at creating these breaks with line figures. It can create breaks in solid figures like triangle or rectangle, but this is a perimeter. So we have to do it a little bit of a hard way. And what we do is we create individual lines like this, and then give them colors according to our preferences. So for example, in this particular graphic, what I did was that I created a simple line without any gradient, but I could have given it a gradient too. So again, these are just the use tools. So now the line is actually starting and it is allowing interruptions. So if I want to create another line on the top, because I like them so much, so I just copy and paste and then replicate the same lines. See, for Toastmasters logo, for any piece of text, the lines break, and that's the typical Toastmasters style. We have seen it in the manual. We've also seen one more thing, and that is the use of gradients against to break things up, to create visual interest. For example, I can hide this. I can create a gradient field here, and I can brighten up a little bit. Just a second. Yes. So I can brighten it, and then I can change the angle like this. I can send it to back, and I can send this picture back further. So again, this is this is very crude, very cheap looking, but this is something that you'll find repeatedly done in the branding manual as well. And remember, we heard it straight from the mouth of the CEO Toastmasters International when we went to Vietnam, that anything you see done in Toastmasters document is something that you can do in your own documents. So again, you can use different techniques. So if I had created this, I would have had to move this picture a little bit further. So these are just some of the techniques that you can use. And again, these are, so for example, here, I was trying to create another variant of this poster. What I did was that I took up, this is a picture that is downloaded from the Toastmasters website, and it is completely a stock picture. And those of you who know, there's a whole collection of stock pictures at Toastmasters website. So you can use them for Toastmasters material freely. The trouble with these pictures is that they are amazing quality pictures. They are bright, they are perfectly focused, but they don't necessarily lend themselves well to serve as background for your posters, right? So you have to tweak them a little bit. So what I did with this picture was that I darkened it a little bit. Okay, so there's a you have a whole suite of picture correction tools. You can darken this picture a little bit like I did, and then you can even desaturate it. You can make it maybe a black and white picture. Again, nothing forbidden in that. And then you can give it a blur effect or a glass effect. And suddenly the picture that you had has formed a perfect background. And you only had to spend like 30 seconds, and you have a great looking background that's coming straight from Toastmasters website. So it's not violating the Toastmasters group, guidelines. So these are the ways that you can use. And yes, I'm over time. Let me just demonstrate one more thing. Just a second. There is, okay, Toastmaster Imran, by how much time I'm over time? Is my time completely over?
You have 2 minutes more.
Okay, 2 minutes more. Okay, good. So I want
You have 2 minutes more.
Yeah. So I wanted to show you a document that we have downloaded and then developed from Toastmasters website. And it is a presentation on corporate Toastmasters clubs. And you can see a lot of visual techniques being used in that document. I'll just take you through a quick tour of that, and that will be the end of. Oh my God. R.A. James is here? I had no idea. Thank you so much, R.A. James, for joining. I think he has left. I don't know. But, oh yeah, he's still there. Oh my God. Thank you so much, R.A. James. It is such a great pleasure that you could be at our little event. I hope I made some sense. And okay, I'll be sharing this presentation. Can everyone see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. So see, now you must be thinking to yourself that the color that we see as the background of this slide, how is that part of the standard Toastmasters palette? Well, let me show you something. The designers at Toastmasters are a creative bunch. What they've done is that they've used the same navy blue, right? But they have actually used this to actually create a different variant of the same blue. So you see, you slide the arrow a little bit upwards and you play with the transparency and the darkness a little bit, and you see, you get almost the exact same color. So again, experimenting with the brightness and the darkness of the same color is not forbidden. It's done by Toastmasters themselves. Secondly, you can see they've also used shading in this slide. And this is, and again, this color, can anyone guess? Like this color is also, let me show you. This color is a very light version of the Toastmasters gray. See? So it's the same color that you've been seeing. It's just a different variant of it. And you see the different effect that variants can have. So these are the things that can be used to bring variety and interest. And previously they used to use these bullets and everything. Now I don't think they're there in the brand manual anymore. But the visual language largely remains the same. What Toastmasters have done is that they have actually, see this page, the text is the same color as the background, just a deeper color. That's all there is. So these are all the techniques that you can use. Again, the sky is the limit. I think I hope I've been successfully able to demonstrate that despite the limitations of the brand manual, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from creating documents and posters and online presentations that are not only beautiful to look at, but 100% compliant with Toastmasters branding. With that, I end my presentation and thank you so much, everyone. So now it is time for our next presenter, and we are so grateful to Public Relations Manager of District 104, Toastmaster Sarfaraz Sheikh, who has graced this meeting, and he will be telling us all about social media management, and that is something that we can all learn endlessly about. So Toastmaster Sarfaraz Ahmed Sheikh, first of all, on behalf of the district, we thank you so much for being here. And everyone who is in attendance, please put your hands together for PRM District 104 Toastmaster Sarfaraz Sheikh. Over to you, sir.
First of all, Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much and very warm good evening to the District 122 leaders. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to give a seminar on social media. I hope you all are enjoying. You got today loads of knowledge. I hope you will take home some knowledges of PowerPoint. You will take some knowledges of brand guideline. And now I hope I will give you some good informative social media tips and some guidelines and some analytics so that you can create your own identity, your own club identity, your district identity, your division identity, your area identity, which is most important. Now we all are locked down and we all are going to a pandemic situations. So the most important thing we know now that I'm coming from Saudi Arabia, DTM James is coming from Saudi Arabia, and I'm in Pakistan. So it's an opportunity for us to use this digital platform that is Zoom. So without wasting your time, I would like to share my screen, and I hope you will enjoy whatever I demonstrate. And if you allow me to share my screen, so can I be the host, or I can share? Okay.
I've made you the co-host, so you should be.
Okay.
Yes, you can see it.
Can you see?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So let us go through the social media thing. First of all, you all are very. I hope you all are very internet savvy, and you all are on digital platform, isn't it? Yes, because why I'm saying this, if anybody says in today's world, in today's period, that I don't know, I don't like digital media, and I'm not in a social media, I'm not an addicted to anything, but he's lying. If he's using his mobile phone, if he is using his WhatsApp, he is using his own Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, right? So he cannot lie that every single person in the earth most of the people are using internet today, and they have a devices which is very intelligent. So let us move on. What is social media? Social media is a computer-based technology, right? Facilitates you're sharing your ideas, your thoughts through the building of virtual network and communities. Like You don't need to go to your school. You don't need to go to your colleges during this pandemic, but you are together. You are in touch with your friends, with your family. Either you're using, there are multiple choices of social media channel in our Asian countries. And now social media can be a useful tool, which are bringing advantages such as engaging with your audience and boosting traffic. This is the most important thing which will help you in Toastmaster, in your personal life, or if you have your own business, if you are working for a company, please use digital channels as the most influencing media for all your advertisement or communicating to your customers. Do you know average person is spending almost 3 hours on social media sites daily? Now today also I was thinking, no, I don't want to use social media. I don't want to use, but I was using my WhatsApp for an hour. I was using Zoom. I was using my Facebook even to collect those information what I can educate you people. So 3 hours, one person. So can you imagine how big the market is to grab members for Toastmasters, to grab new potential members? Each club, each area or each division, if they have their individual identity, individual Facebook page or anything, it will help you to gain the members. Now let us move to the analytic, the usage of the demographic. First, choose wisely. You cannot afford, like you have to be in all social channels like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and lots of TikTok and all those kind of things. You don't need to be there everywhere because you need to focus on somewhere. So at least the most important platforms are, you all know. We will discuss this in later part. The types of social media platforms are social networking sites, image sharing and messaging sites, video sharing sites, YouTube and all, social blogging, lots of blogging sites are there, social community and discussion sites. Now this is the demographic. If you see, this I got it today through Hootsuite. Can you imagine Pakistan is having 33 million Facebook users, and that too 80% of male audience and 19.2% is a female audience. So don't waste your time. Please create your Facebook page. At least if you attract few of them, you can achieve your target to be a distinguished club. Instagram, 6.4 million. So yani Facebook is the #1 in Pakistan. Very good. Then Instagram, 6.4 million. Males are dominating over here again, 64%, but the average has been increased in the female audience, 35%. So again, Instagram is also most important channel for you. Now I got a strange thing is Snapchat. Snapchat just boom, 53%. But I don't recommend using Snapchat because Snapchat, there are stories like it will go within one day or 1 hour or something. So the best way is go to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The most important channel for all clubs and all of you is the Instagram and Facebook because it is common for everyone. Now the first important, I hope I'm not going fast, right?
No, it's perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you. And I'm not also boring, yes? Toastmasters, social media. Now, first of all, these are the channels we discussed like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. These are the channels where you just need to ask, you just need to check whether your district club have a social media presence. If yes, then rebrand it as per the new guideline, which our PRM has explained in the previous session, which was very well explained. And I think he will be sharing with you the PDF file. So just go through that. Just go through Toastmasters International page. Just go to another district, how they are doing. Brand it your district page, brand your club page. The club is most important part. So you each and every club should have, if they say they don't have any club page, so then there is a time to create your presence at least in one of the free social media channel, and it's a free without any cost. Then you just need to create, engage, and communicate. Your presence on social media will definitely benefit you, not today, at least after 1 or 2 months, inshallah. Let's move. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and you can ask at the end of my session, or you can chat. You can just drop a chat so we can just answer it accordingly. Let us move to the next part. Why social media is very useful for us as a brand. Toastmaster is also a brand, which a company, a brand which is working since 100 years. So it's a big brand. It's not a small brand. Though I'm working with Hyundai, it's not an 100 years brand. But to respect with the brand, you should use all the colors and everything, fonts and all. Social media really increase your brand awareness. You are directly connecting with your audience. The message, whatever you are delivering in your social media, it goes boom to everyone. If suppose your friend likes, it will go to your other friends and friends and friends. It will move on, and your brand awareness, brand Ahmed, brand Talha, brand Toastmaster, whatever brand, your personalized brand, anything, if you post on social media channel, it will slowly and gradually, really it will work as a networking. That's why it's called as social media networking. Then even if you post on regularly on something related to your brand, like Toastmaster story or any of the thoughts, like in my district 104, what we have done, we are asking how Toastmasters changed me. It's a question where all the club members are answering in a proper format, and we are posting it in our social media channel as a template, and we are getting hundreds of posts. So it's a very good opportunity for us to increase our engagement rate, and we are getting likes by likes, like a chain is going on now. Then there are more opportunities to convert. Through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, you might get leads, you might get members to generate, to be a potential member during this time. And then higher brand authority, like you can, Toastmaster is a brand, so you can create as a brand. So it will really, once you hit, it will really hit, definitely hit on the customers, on the members, or the new visitors mind, and it will increase inbound traffic and reach your customer experiences, like reach your new members, or even the current members can experience potentiality. And if you post lots, if district also post, or if the club meetings has been posting every time their flyers and messages, it will really benefit. It will be a positive effect on your members too, that yes, district is doing something, yes, area is doing something, division is doing something, and our club is also doing something. So we need to do something new, I'll always, and create a story, create a buzz. Then there are some tips, like whenever you are on social media, you just need to plan, start with a plan, like what I have to post this month, what I have to post this week, what stories should be created. We Toastmasters, we have lots of stories from the websites. Also, you can get lots of videos, you can get lots of content, especially the content. If we don't have content is the king in the Toastmasters website itself. And your clubs, you can ask questions, you can ask quizzes. check out your competitors. Like suppose, for example, if you are a brand, if you are working with some other brand or anything, or even you are in Toastmasters, so District 104 is your competitor. So you can go to our page. You can see what we are doing, District 79 or international districts. You can go there. You can check how the pages are, how the clubs are doing their meetings. So you can change your creativity by that. Then create a social media calendar. By creating a calendar, it will really help you what to post today or what not. Then 80% of your content. Now, this is the most important part. Like even I'm working with a brand where my boss says it's an opposite. Only 20% of content for educating and informing and entertaining. No, he's wrong. 80% of your content should educate, inform, entertain your followers. To only 20% of your content should be for promotional activity, like your campaigns, like whatever you want to do a small campaign or anything, use that. But 80% of your content should be educational, like what is Toastmaster, how Toastmaster helps you, and those kind of things. So it will engage, it will build a relationship with an engagement. Then use influencers. In your country, you might have a good influencers who might be well known and who was a Toastmaster or who is a Toastmaster. You can use them to advertise or to promote your club or district. Use advertisement to reach out. We, District 104, is planning to do a small campaign as a trial. So let's see how it will work out. Then how frequently you can post. How frequently you can post on social media channels. This on Facebook, you can post once per day or maximum two posts per day. But it is best to post one post at a day. And the timing, it should be early in the morning or later part of the evening. When you are sitting in your dining table, you can see you are relaxed and free. And that time, I think we all are watching our mobile and Facebook, Twitter, whatever social channel. Then for Twitter, 3 to 6 times a day. If it's a text message, you can do that. And 15 to 23 tweets, though we don't have that much messages, like you must need a content writer or something to create this kind of post. But whatever post you're creating for Facebook, you can post it on Instagram, you can post it on Twitter, you can post it on another channels, whatever you have. You can create one post and publicize it, post it in all channels. Now, create a specific YouTube posting schedule. YouTube is also a most important channel. Whatever meetings you have, you can record it. District can record that, videos can be posted on YouTube channel. And even if a club is having a YouTube channel, they can also post their videos. Now, the most important is social media post sizes. Like for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you can see for the cover page, like if you go to any of the brand, I will show it to you. If you go to any of the brand, you can see a header, okay, top banner, a logo. This is 800 pixels, 400 by 400 pixels in Twitter, 1024 by 512 pixels. Why they are saying these sizes, you know, if you post an inappropriate sizes, like if you post some other sizes of images, it will not appear properly on Twitter, it will not appear on Instagram. See, you can see on Instagram, you should post 1080 by 1080. And then for Facebook, it's also different. Before you can post 1080 by 1080. Now they have changed the size, if you can, 1200 by 630. I will show you an actual. I will show you an actual thing. Just give me 1 minute. Can you see my screen? Hello? Can anyone answer?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, we can.
I'm just showing you a brand, a I'm just showing you a brand page, Nestle. I just given an example. I didn't use Toastmaster, I'm just using this because they have some specific post. This is the cover page this is the cover image for Twitter. This is the logo. Okay. And then this is the video post they are doing. This is the post what they are using. You can see this size. This is the size what Twitter is using. Now go to Facebook. Facebook also having a cover page. Now they have changed their sizes. The new layout is having something different. Then you can have your cover, your logo, and then your post. You can see Facebook is still they are using 1080 by 1080. So this post can be posted on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But on Twitter, it will look half. So be careful, okay? And for YouTube, even for YouTube channel, see how uniqueness you can feel. How uniqueness you can feel in the brand Nestle itself. Their logo is there everywhere, same logo they are using. So same way, even in Toastmasters also, we are using same images everywhere. And Nestle for Instagram also, it's the same thing. I just showed you the see 1080, it will come as a square properly. So now let us go back again to our presentation. I will share with you this slides so that Ahmed can share these slides for the sizes for the club and district. It will really help you out to create a brand identity for your club, your district. These are the sizes. Even again, I will share with you the slide. Now the text length and the hashtag. These days, hashtag is working like a rocket science kind of thing. So for Twitter, you can use, just want to show 1 minute. I just missed out one thing. Okay. For Twitter, you can post 280 character. You can use 280 characters and one hashtag only. For Facebook, you can use 40 to 80 characters for your headlines, but unlimited text you can put, but only one hashtag, which will really help you to boost your post. And then for Instagram, you can use 138 to 150 characters, and you can use multiple 30 hashtags, but I recommend to use 1 or 2. So this is our hashtag like district104ti, hash district104ti, hash Toastmasters. And now if suppose you are a club, so you can use your hash Pakistan club, hash area, division, whatever, you just need to create an hashtag. So whenever you click on any hashtag or anybody search for your district name, it will appear directly or through the hashtag. Now, how to engage with your social audience? How to engage? First, you can ask the questions. Use a very captivating images like how DTM Talha has shown you how to create your flyers. You can create your own flyers in PowerPoint. Save as JPEG, and then just boom, just distribute it throughout all your channels. And I think District 122 should create their own templates and get an approval from Toastmasters International and forward it to all your club will be much appreciated. So it will help you to be in one unique channel. Then stay on brand. So that is what stay on brand means, like all club will have one identity. Share videos, show followers an inside look at your district. So you can just upload a video of your district director, record your video if a district director, record PRM video, PQD, CGD, or who is the winner of the last international speech craft. Just record it and post it. Keep post very simple, share timely content, get to know your audience and broadcast live. Now this is the most important thing. Yesterday, even in my club, we have done. We have broadcast live through Facebook. So that's why I recommend that every club should have their Facebook page so that they can go live. So now the live means you are an international star. People coming from India, USA, Finland, Philippines, lots of areas. So you will get a good awareness kind of thing. Now, social media do's. Prompt discussion for maximum engagement, answer questions and respond to feedback. Always do this. Provide helpful links, post photos, keep an eye on what is trending. Okay. Now use bit.ly to a shortened URL. Suppose, for example, you have a meeting today for a Zoom and you got a big URL. So you need to shorten it. So use bit.ly so you can shorten that. And then for Twitter, you can retweet trendings and understand hashtags, proofread before posting, post videos, post real content. These are the few resources what I will be sharing with you guys, or even you can take screenshots like bit.ly for creating short URLs, Toastmasters organization brand elements, like you can get all photos of branded elements. Then you social media today.com. This is the best website. You can, what is the latest trend going on around the world, you can see that. Then Shopify blog, Instagram hashtag, you can, this is the most important thing, like you can use an hashtag for your meeting. Then best hashtag, before creating your hashtags, you can create, you can ask, you can just go and search, you will get this hashtag. And the most important thing is canva.com. Canva.com is now booming. And if your club or anybody doesn't know designing, use canva.com to create your free flyer, free video graphics, free, everything is free over there. Then pixabay.com is also an image website where you can get a good high resolution photos for your next meeting. I hope these resources will really help you out to be a better Toastmaster club. Then to engage your followers, you can do a competition. You can do polls and survey through Facebook and Twitter instead of manually doing, like before we used to do manually. Now you can just post a competition in Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. There are polls and surveys. You can ask questions to the audience. Then social media philosophy. We are in Twitter, how you write. We are so excited for our Toastmasters district event. In Facebook, like our Toastmasters district Facebook page. In Instagram, Toastmaster. Everywhere they are using Toastmaster. So this is what from my side as create, coordinate, and communicate. If anybody is having any questions, so we can answer it out. And I hope today you have a very informative sessions, and you have got lots of informative things with tips and ideas from DTM Talha, from your ex VPPR, and from me also. And I hope I didn't bore you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PRM Surfraz, and very, very enlightening session. Trust me, there was absolutely nothing boring about it. And in fact, there is nothing boring about public relationing. It's an excellent field. It's a very, very interesting field. There's no aspect of it that is boring, except for maybe programming and actually creating the content. That's where it does get very boring and time consuming, but the payoff is actually worth the effort. So I urge anyone who has any question about anything that you've heard so far from Toastmaster Qamar Shiraz, from myself and PRM Sarfraz, please forward your questions now. And Toastmaster Imran, how much time we have for this particular session? Because I believe Toastmaster Sarfraz finished well before time.
Toastmaster Sarfraz took 25 minutes. He has 5 minutes more.
Okay, so we have 5 minutes. Anyone who wants to ask a question, your time is now. Yes, you have 6 minutes left. Okay, for Toastmaster Safras, in terms of content, what can be called as stealing content or taking inspiration? Oh my God. We'll need a separate 6-hour session on that. But Toastmaster Safras, try your luck.
Thank you very much for asking such a challenging question. Stealing content and taking inspiration. Now, you might be stealing some content from my presentation tonight. Should I tell you? Should I say that you're stealing from my presentation? No, because you will definitely change some points, something. That thing, whatever you are changing, it's the content belongs to you. You need an inspiration. For inspiration, you can see a creative, an art. You can go to Google. You can browse lots of things. Suppose, for example, in Google, if you search Toastmasters motto, Toastmasters quote, you will find lots of quotes, right? You can copy that, and without giving the name of that person who has written that quote, that is called stealing content. You got my point? If that particular person name is there, you should not copy completely from that time. Okay. And taking inspiration, we all are taking inspiration from our leaders and from nature. The most important is the nature. If you go outside of your house, green, nature has lots of things. Sky has no limits. And I think I have answered your question, Saad, Shoaib.
Toastmaster Saad, I hope your question was answered. I will just like to add that when you
Yes, thank you very much.
When you Google some photos or some images or some PNGs or GIFs for some animations, some are free to download, and you can see the download button and you just download them. And that's a pretty good indication that they are free to use for everyone. Otherwise, they would be behind some paywall or some login. Then there is some kind of content, text particularly, or perhaps some image that politely asks you to attribute it whenever you use it. So again, that's freely usable, but it's good practice to respect that artist's work and attribute it. And besides wholesale lifting of stock photography or music or videos that are clearly the copyright of someone else, that's a no-go. And even if you try to do that, Facebook will instantly clamp down on it, YouTube will clamp down on it, and will receive a very nice email. So as you did, Toastmaster Saad, a few months ago, it has, in fact, Toastmaster Saad received a notice, but that was someone just looking for their 15 minutes of fame. So again, it's internet, it works both ways. That lady Sue actually asked Facebook to remove some of the content generated by Saad because she claimed it had been lifted from some of her work, but there was absolutely no connection. So again, but you will know it when you will see it. You cannot straight away use, for example, a photo of Batman or a trailer for a movie straight into your club promotion. Obviously, you would know that would be copyrighted, right? So anybody else? Anybody else?
I have shared my presentation. I have shared my presentation in the chat box, so you can just go through that. And Saad, I am recommending everybody to use Pixabay. Pixabay, there are a few things like for advertisement, Shutterstock will be there, but below images are free to use, so you can use those. But I also recommend use Toastmasters images. If you are creating any flyer for Toastmaster Club, you can use freely Toastmaster. Very beautiful pictures they have, so you can use for your meeting. And even if you have your own club meeting, you can use. But if you for personal use, you can use Pixabay is the best website for you to use it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, okay, our timer. Okay. Anybody has any question? There's time for a quick question before we move on to the next speaker, please. Okay. I would suggest Toastmasters Safraz, if you can share your presentation with our public relations manager, then he can also share it with some people who cannot download it from the chat box.
Sure. I have the presentation, so just let me know if anyone
Sure,
knows.
sure. Okay. So I believe there being no more questions now, it is time to move on to the next topic, and that topic is also something very interesting. It's something very mysterious as well, to me at least, because to be honest, it comes across to me as something like voodoo magic. Uh, I created some promotional materials and I uploaded them on YouTube. And the daily hits, I was counting like 10 hits today, 20 tomorrow. And one of my cousins, he composed an absolutely terrible, dreadful song and shot a video for it. And by the way, nobody knows my cousin as a singer. And his video amassed 94,000 views in just the first hour. And that was the point, my friends, when I lost faith in everything. So obviously there is some mystery. There is some real skill to this social media optimization and search engine optimization. And that is why sometimes you see absolutely daft content amassing hit after hit, while your content, which you've created, you put your heart and soul into it, and yet it's not getting as many hits as it should have. So to unravel the mystery, we have none other than our public relations manager, Toastmaster Ahmed Sajjad Zedi. And over to you, Toastmaster Ahmed.
Thank you so much, PQD Talha. Welcome, everyone. And I'd like to start off with a question. How many of you know what is the best place to hide a body? Anyone? The best place to hide a dead body?
Graveyard.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Graveyard.
In plain sight.
It is said that the best place to hide a body is on the second page of Google, because no one goes there. Well, actually, that's not entirely true, because people like me go all the way to page 20 or something until Google says that you may be a bot. And we're doing this because we're searching for our website or searching for other websites which may not be ranking on the first page. Let me just share my presentation. So can everyone see it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I will be talking about SEO, search engine optimization. So this is primarily directed at Google when you're searching for your website, or you expect people to come to your website through Google search results. But this applies to YouTube search as well. It applies to other platforms to an extent, but mostly it is about Google search. So SEO, this is the most cost-effective way to reach your audience. And why do I say that? Because let's say you create a marketing campaign or a paid advertising campaign on any platform. As long as you are running that campaign, you will get results from that. It will reach your audience. The moment you stop the funding for that, or you stop the campaign, that's it. You won't get any more viewers, any more people to your content. With SEO, what we do is that we optimize the content once, and then you keep reaping the rewards for months or even years ahead. So this is, and on other platforms, what you do is you target your audience. That I want to target these people with these interests in this particular area. And you may be way off. You may target an audience which is not supposed to get that content, or which is completely useless to you. However, with SEO, the people are coming to you. They are searching for what they want and they are coming directly to you. So it is a very specific, very targeted audience that you can get right to your platform, your web page, or your Facebook page, or any social media page. So there are three key areas when it comes to search engine optimization. Now, this is primarily targeted at Google. So if you want to rank well on Google, these are the things that we look at, but this applies to other search engines as well. And since Google is the biggest search engine, you get the most traffic from there, it makes sense to optimize your content for that. You will get results from other platforms as well. There might be some minor issues which you may need to change, but mostly it will be the same. One thing I'd like to mention is that, as I said, the best place to hide a dead body is on the second page of Google. Now, there's a reason for that. The first link in a Google search result gets over 50% of the traffic, over 50%. And it goes down drastically. So the second link might get 20%, the third link might get 10%, and it goes down further. And hardly anyone goes to the second or third or any of the other pages. So this is why SEO is most important. If you can rank #1 for a popular keyword, then you're set, you're gold. Now, how do we do that? There are three key areas that Google looks at. There are three key areas that you need to work on. Firstly is content. Secondly, user experience. And third, reputation. Now, you could have brilliant content, you can do everything there, but if the user experience is bad or the reputation is bad, then it won't benefit you. So you need to focus on all three areas. And we'll start with content. So quality is more important than the quantity of your content. So instead of one quality piece of article or image, video that you post a month is better than random things that you post on a daily basis. So quantity does not help at all with this. And trust me, I've tried this. So if you create quality content, it will rank even if you don't do it very frequently. So when we talk about content, there are 4 key things that I look at, or that you can look at. Firstly, it has to be unique. So don't plagiarize, don't copy stuff from other places, other articles. When you do that, even if you change the wording, even if you move the words around, Google has gotten really, really good at detecting when this happens. And they can figure out what your article is talking about without actually comparing the words. And this can really hurt you if you copy or modify content like this. So the content has to be unique. Try to make it as unique. Just write the content yourself, create the content yourself. Then it has to be high quality. So, it has to be professional. If you're writing an article, it has to be well worded. It has to be easily understood. The grammar has to be correct. Thirdly, it has to be useful and relevant. So any content that people find that is that exactly what they're looking for. If they're searching for public speaking platforms in Islamabad, then they should be able to find that on the first try. So you have to create content that is useful and relevant, and you have to be focused. So if you have a page on public speaking and you start posting something about fishing or some other hobbies, then you're not focused anymore, and your site won't rank on either way, or your page won't rank on either way. So you have to be focused. The more focused you are, the better it is. Although at a point when you go into, if you're too focused, then you might not have enough people searching for that content. So focus, but keep it in a certain area where there are a lot of people searching for it. Some content guidelines. So you can use Google Trends to find keywords. And keywords are what people search for in the search engine. So in Google, when you type, for example, public speaking tips, then these are the keywords that you're searching for. Now, there was a time before you could just fill a page with public speaking tips. Every other paragraph would have that, or you can include it in one of the meta tags, and that would help you rank really well, but not anymore. So if Google or other platforms, they detect that you're using the same keyword too many times, then that means that you're trying to fake that content, or you're trying to exaggerate that content. So one thing you can do is look at existing content, public speaking tips, look at what other people are writing. You don't have to copy from them, you need to be inspired from them. So get that info and then write something naturally. So that what I mentioned was keyword stuffing, when you put too many keywords in a piece of content. Now this applies to articles, this applies to the YouTube video descriptions, this applies to videos and images in general as well. So if in a video you are repeating the same thing over and over again, it gets annoying. So avoid keyword stuffing, write or develop your content in a natural way. And here's an interesting tip that it takes a lot of time and effort to create quality content, quality and useful content. So how do you maximize that time and effort? Let's say you have written an article on public speaking tips, or you have written an article on your club's progress. What you can do is you can't copy that same thing and post it in different places, because that will actually damage your brand. Because you are making multiple copies, it dilutes your brand. That original piece of content that you've created, keep it on your website, on your page. However, what you can do is you can use different mediums to convey the same message. For example, if you've written an article, create a podcast out of it. The same wording, the same things, just turn it into an audio and post it as a SoundCloud or soundbite. And then you can do the same and create a video out of it. So you have these three things that you can rank for, that you can, the three types of audiences that you can target with the same content. Now let's move on to user experience. So a lot of people confuse user experience with user interface. So user interface is what we interact with. So in this example, UI is the saddle, stirrups, and the reins. However, user experience is the feeling you get while riding the horse. So even if your user interface isn't that great, but your user experience is good, people come on your platform, on your website, on your page, and they find exactly what they're looking for. That really helps. That is better than having a great interface and nowhere to go. So in terms of user experience, one of the first things that people focus on is performance. I would say this isn't the most important factor, but it does play a part. And this primarily applies to websites. So if you have a website which has a lot of images, which is very heavy, or which is very slow in general, maybe you have hosting problems, then that affects the performance. And if a user has to wait more than 2 seconds or more than a few seconds for the content to load, then they will disappear. They will go away. So it doesn't have to be lightning fast. If it is, such as Google or other platforms, then that's great. However, it's not necessary. So your site just has to be fast enough for users to find the content before they give up and decide to leave. Design. That's also not as important, but it is there. So if you look at websites today and compare them with websites 10 years ago, there's a massive difference. So keep a check on the design. But more important than design is the structure. So whether it's a page or whether it's your YouTube channel or your website, there has to be a structure there. The landing page of your channel, most people, even so many pages that have millions and millions of followers, they make the same mistake that they just have one row or one line of videos, whereas you can maximize the whole channel area to add playlists, add different types of videos. You can do that. So maximize that. For websites, you need to have a good structure. You need to have a good layout. So if your website, there's one section on public speaking tips, another section on events and galleries. So have them structured nicely so that it's easier for people to find them. And lastly, it has to be search engine friendly. There are some technical things involved. I'll try not to get into anything too technical, but keep your content search engine friendly. Don't target your content for search engines though, because when you write content that is meant for search engines, that is meant for spiders or crawlers, the Google knows that you've done that. If it's not readable by humans, if they are having trouble experiencing it, their user experience is bad, Google will figure it out. So keep your content search engine friendly, but make it friendlier to humans. That should be your primary goal. Any questions so far? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So let's move on. We just have one more thing to cover here. You can't buy a good reputation, you must earn it. So the third thing that we will look at is your site's or your page's reputation. And this is something that you need to work really hard on. It's not something that you can solve really quickly. So for example, user experience, maybe your page wasn't user-friendly yesterday, but today it is, and that works fine. For content, you might not have good content this month, but next month you are going to have quality articles, you're going to have quality videos, and you're out of it. But the reputation, that takes a lot of time and effort and patience to build up. And once you've lost that reputation, let's say you have borrowed or copied content from other people, or you have done any violations, or your website or page has done something bad, then it's very hard to recover from that. As we've experienced multiple times with Facebook pages, that once you get banned for whatever reason, or once you have a strike against you, then it's very hard to recover from that. That might be a permanent ban. So you have to preserve that reputation. You have to preserve that from the start. When we look at reputation, one of the most important factors is backlinks. Now, backlinks show that your content is important to some people. It's worth linking to. People are sharing your website, they are sharing your details. And the more backlinks you have, the more quality backlinks you have, the better it is. On the negative side, if you have a lot of bad backlinks, so let's say there are a lot of dubious websites, a lot of websites selling illegal stuff or illegal content, and they're linking to you, then that's a really bad sign. And you should do your best to avoid such things. And Google does provide options. So let's say someone decides to damage your reputation or your page's your club's website, for example, and they create hundreds or thousands of links to that from dubious websites. Now, there are options to counter that. Google allows you to disavow those links. But you should strive to get quality backlinks. So if you can get backlinks from reputable sources, so if, for example, if we get a backlink to our district page, district website from Toastmasters International, that gives it a lot of credibility. Now, security, that's getting more and more important. A few years ago, if your website wasn't secure, it was on HTTP, then that was not a big issue. You wouldn't be favored or penalized compared to other websites. However, now that does make a difference, and in future, this will be a ranking factor. So if there are two websites which are identical, which have great content, which have great backlinks, one is secure, one isn't, then of course, the secure one will be preferred. Apart from that, you should make sure that your passwords are protected. There aren't any user accounts where people can log in and change things around. And there's a funny anecdote about this. When Facebook first started, for many number of years, they had a master password, which was Chuck Norris. And using that password, they could get into any user's profile. So that was a big security hole, and it took a while for them to change that. It was convenient for them, that's why they were using it. So once you have such a hole, or once you create such a weakness, that can be exploited, that can be used to damage your site, damage your reputation, damage your page, and that's not what you want. So keep security in mind. And then there's age. So no matter how good your content is, no matter how well you do everything else, if your website is 1 year old or your page is 1 year old, and a competitor's page with equally good content, equally good backlinks is 10 years old, then they will be favored because they have been around longer, they have established that reputation. So you need to do something much better than them to rank better, than them. And now there is a term used which is called EAT or EAT, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And this especially applies to areas which affect people's lives directly, so either financially or health-wise. So if you are giving financial advice on your page or your website, then you need to have a lot of authority for that. You need to have a lot of expertise. You need to prove those expertise. It takes a lot of time to establish your credibility in such a situation. So be mindful of any content that you post. So if you're posting COVID advice, make sure that you have that reputation of, you have built up that reputation. Otherwise, and it makes sense that if we see so many people giving bad advice, either medical or financial, and if it can potentially ruin a person's life or ruin a family, then Google treats that very seriously. They have to have a lot of reputation, a lot of goodwill behind them. And we're almost done, so I'll just briefly mention the tools that you can use to work on your site's SEO, work on your site's reputation. The most important is Search Console. This is a tool by Google. And you can figure out exactly what people are searching for and coming to your website. So you can get that information. You can see which keywords rank better. There are a lot of ways you can use this. And this is a really helpful tool to measure your search engine performance. Next is Google Trends. I've already mentioned that. With this, you can use this tool to look up quality keywords, relevant keywords. And Google Analytics, this tells you exactly which users are coming to your website, or how many users they are, how long they stay on your website, and what they do. So you can measure things like, for example, a user searched for something on Google, they landed on your website, then they went to your contact page, then they went to your Facebook page or somewhere. So you can track users this way. You can see which place you need to optimize. SEMrush is a great tool for this. You can use this to keep track of your site's reputation. So the first three tools are by Google, and SEMrush is a third-party tool. And SEO Nurse is just in the process of launching. It's something that I'm working on, and it attempts to handle that SEO issue as well. So it will be able to tell you if your heading is correct, or how long your heading should be, or what kind of, how much text you have. Should you add more text, or should you reduce the text in your content? So this kind of analysis, these two tools can help you do that. And we are done. So if you have any questions, this is the time. Please let me know.
Sir, I have a question regarding there is a software that is Panda. So have you used it? Because most probably we are like in 2 years back, we are using for the search engine optimization.
Panda. Can you repeat the name? So there are a number of other softwares, and I've heard of Panda, but when you talk about SEO and Panda, it's more about the Panda update that Google released a few years ago. And that really hurt a lot of websites, and it helped some websites as well. So one thing I'd like to mention is that Google and other search engines and other platforms, they are constantly changing, they're constantly improving their algorithms. So a few years ago, or in the past, you could upload a copyrighted photo, you could use the James Bond theme or other copyrighted music in your content, in your videos. And if someone noticed that, they could complain and it would be taken down. But now they have automated filters which do that. So the moment you upload copyrighted content, it can detect it and reject it. So you have to be very careful with that. And similarly with search engines, before, like I said, you could do keyword stuffing, you could post any kind of content and it will start ranking. But now it's improving day by day. So if something loophole or a trick works today, it won't work tomorrow. So as long as you have useful, relevant content, then you will continue to rank.
Toastmaster Ahmed, there's a question. Isn't Ahref, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Ahref a good tool for SEO?
Yes, it is. It is an excellent platform. Their tool, as well as the information that they put out, that is really useful. So yes, definitely. And there are a lot of tools out there. It's up to you to select which tools you want to use, and each tool gives you a certain point of view. So what I usually do is, in addition to my own tools, I check the same thing on different platforms, on different tools. And so 90% of the tips they give are the same. That 10%, there are some useful things there. There are some new things there. And that can be very useful. That can really help you improve your ranking.
Most certainly, Toastmaster Ahmed, and I can appreciate that. Having been a tinkerer for years and experimenter, I know for a fact that most of the software available on the internet has its own pros and cons, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution for everyone. Some people are comfortable with one thing, some people are comfortable with another. There's no limit to the number of softwares available, but what we find ourselves most well adjusted with, that's what we use, and that's what we advise others to use. It doesn't mean that there are others tool don't exist, but it just means that the presenter, whoever is presenting, they've found that they are basically the tools that they have mentioned, those tools are actually the ones that work best for them. Okay, there was also another.
I have a question from Toastmaster Saad Shoaib. Can guest posts be effectively used for the SEO of a Toastmaster club? Yes, definitely. So guest posts are when you offer to write on someone else's website or someone else's blog. And that does really help. But you have to be careful of not appearing to be part of a link circle or a link chain. And that is when, let's say, all of us decide to start our own website and we all link to each other. And that creates a kind of chain, and Google is smart enough to figure that out. So if they realize that you're linking to each other or linking in a chain even 10 levels deep, you will be penalized for that. It will actually hurt you instead of helping you.
So people, this is a highly interesting and highly technical topic. So I suggest that you ask your questions. This is a golden opportunity, because guess what? You will ultimately get a recording of this session, but guess what you won't have? And that will be the option to ask questions. So please, if there are any questions, note them down here. And meanwhile, let me thank all the presenters today from the bottom of my heart. And let me thank R.A. James especially, and everyone else too, for taking out the time to attend this session. To be honest, I'm feeling slightly giddy right now because the session has turned out to be so much better than I was expecting. And we all have learned so much new stuff. And you know, what's the most valuable thing about such sessions is that when you are witnessing the session, you are constantly thinking of new things and you're noting them down. And guess what? Once you're listening to a recording of some session, you won't be able to do that. It only comes with live attendance of a session. So again, sincerely grateful to all of you. Okay, we have another question, and that is from none other than PRM of District 104. How to be #1 position in Google search, what we should do.
Okay, thank you, PRM Sarfraz. So how to be #1 on Google search, what we should do. You have to be better than everyone else. So your content has to be better, your reputation has to be better, and then you will rank #1. So it's tough, it's challenging, but it depends a lot on your exact niche. So if there isn't any quality content about public speaking tips, then you can write a great article or even an average article better than the others, and you will start ranking #1. But if there are already articles from 10 years ago which cover everything in really good detail, then and they already have an established presence, people have been liking that post or visiting that many times, then it's almost impossible to rank better than those. So you have to create something better or newer. So if you have some new information on that same topic, then that would help you. I hope that answers your question.
Well, that was so beautiful, because this is what and again, I'll admit to some things. Please don't hold me for my word, and don't report it anywhere. Over the years, I've been seeing this trend that search engines, especially Google, yes, they have been moving towards quality. They have become so much better towards giving you real quality stuff in terms of search results. So right now, if I want to search for the torrent of a movie or an album through Google, it is next to impossible, because it won't be on the first page, it won't be even on the second page. And some entries will be on the third page, but then there will be a lot of disclaimers and notices along with that. So yes, uh, and same goes for copyrighted content. When you search for an image, it separates uh, the free to use things with the paid stuff very well. You can see right there in the search result whether there's something that is you can use freely, or it is behind a paywall, or you have to credit the creator for it. So things have moved in that direction, and I'll second Toastmaster Emil in terms of clamp down on copyrighted content as soon as you upload it. Even if there's a few snippets of some music that is copyrighted somewhere, uh, what it does is that it just silences that portion and just informs you that this was a copyright claim. So it's gotten so good because artificial intelligence is involved everywhere. And so before I hand over the charge to our district director for the closing, let me first of all, once again, thank all the presenters today. You have been amazing and we've learned so much from all of you. Secondly, coming up next in October, we have at least 2 programs, and one of them will be a program unlike any other. It is something called Exhibit 122 Artists Lounge, and it is meant to be a showcase for the artists of District 122 GC. So if you're a writer, a poet, a dramatist, an actor, a musician, you will get that platform to showcase your talent. The session is planned on October 18th. It will be a Sunday at 7 p.m. And we will be soon floating a registration form to register for that. So this will be a golden opportunity because a lot of Toastmasters exhibit their talents through Toastmasters meetings, through their speeches. So why not give them a platform where they can truly express themselves? And it will also be not limited to just English. They can express themselves in any language. Even if you're a painter and you've painted something, you will have the opportunity to display that painting and explain it to us. It can be anything. So mark time for that and get ready for that. And then we'll have, on October 26th, we'll have the second place winner of World Championship of Public Speaking, Toastmaster Linda Marie. And she'll be telling you the secrets to her success. So these are the 2 sessions that you should mark your calendar for. With that, we have our District Director, DTM Zunair Zafar, who has just joined us, and he'll be closing out the session. Over to you, DTM Zunair.
Thank you, PQD Talha. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, I hope that you really enjoyed this session and got to learn a lot. I would like to thank all the trainers who participated in this session. Toastmaster Kamal Shiraz, our immediate past PR manager. Of course, PQD Talha, not only for organizing this session, but also for delivering a session. And he, in the previous year as well, was really helpful for all the VPPRs in understanding that you don't need to be an expert in Photoshop. You can do a lot in PowerPoint. And he is the guru of PowerPoint marketing. Our esteemed guest, Toastmaster Sarfraz Sheikh, PR manager for District 104, and of course, our very own PR manager for District 122, Toastmaster Ahmed Sajjad Zaidi. Now, this session was not only to make you aware about how to market Toastmasters or your own clubs within the district or within the community, but also for all to understand that these days, branding and public relationing or the use of social media, it's everywhere. Everyone is a brand, and in order to create your own brand, in order to let everyone know what you're doing, you need to understand how these platforms work, how to use the social media to your own advantage, so that you are on the top in all the LinkedIn searches. If you're doing something amazing on Instagram, how can you be more effective there? And of course, with Facebook, not everything that we do in our lives ends on Facebook. It's a filter that we apply. These are the things in my life that will go to Facebook. These are the things that I'll say on Twitter. These are the things that will only appear on Instagram. All of these platforms are really different. So when you're using all of these skills within Toastmasters, either as a VPPR or in any position within Toastmasters within the district, You're actually learning a lot about these platforms, and these are the skills that you take back, and you can utilize them in your own business, in your professional life, or just to create that brand of yours so that everyone around you gets to know the best side of you, the side that you want to present to the social world. So I hope that this session was really helpful. If you have any queries about any of the things, I hope that all of you can access all these trainers. And if you are unable to access any one of them, then you can definitely get in contact with the program quality director. His email address, by the way, is on the district website. Even if he doesn't mention it, you can go up there and look at it. Probably the phone number as well, if he has not disclosed it. But I hope that he will be sharing with all of you. So if you need any help in any of the sessions, any of the things that you learned here, yeah, he'll be the first point of contact. And as I said in the previous training as well, if you want to learn something else, or if you know something else, then get in contact with us and let us know what are the things that you would like to learn or help others learn. And we'll be glad to arrange that training for you so that we can share our knowledge and become better versions of ourselves. So with this, I would like to, would I be closing the session, Talha, or would I be handing it over back to you?
Well, originally you were tasked with closing the session, but I would just request that if we can have some comments from R.A. James, and then we can close.
So what I'll do is I'll hand over the control back to our PQT Tala, and then he would be inviting our region advisor, and we'll get to hear a lot from him as well. Thank you, everyone, and best of luck. Over to you, Tala.
Thank you so much, DTM Zunair Zafar, for closing yet not closing the session so beautifully. Since we were honored to have our region advisor, James, not regional advisor, at R.A. James will insist, region advisor, everyone. I would just request R.A. James for a few thoughts of yours, since you honored us with your presence. So we'd very much like your feedback about the session.
Assalamu alaikum, leaders of District 122. Please, apologies for not turning on my video now. That's why I was interacting in the chat box. Sorry for my weakness. And this session actually brought a lot of aha moments, even for me who have stayed in the organization for more than 11 years. And we were chatting actually, PQD Tala and myself. I told them that we are both PowerPoint, experts in making flyers. So still there are things to be explored, and that is an indication that here in Toastmasters, we thought that we know already much, but so many things yet have to be discovered by us. So this is our encouragement for all of you today, that we continue to learn and enrich ourselves with the things that we must know as ambassadors of Toastmasters. So I would like to congratulate the people behind this event, and we wish that more of this kind will be conducted in District 122. Of course, you are our baby in our region, and the support from the senior Toastmasters will always be there. Congratulations and all the best. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, R.A. James. And with that, I request all of you to turn on your videos so we can have a parting photo. Okay. People, please turn on your videos. R.A. James cannot, but it's okay. Everyone else? Okay. Yes, try to appear happy. Think about the dinner that you'll be served shortly. Thank you so much, everyone. And with this, I thank you all once again, and signing off, and see you in the next event, inshallah. Once again, I remind you to make a note of the next training plans. We'll be publicizing them shortly. And as District Director Zunair said, if you want training on anything, if you want even on topics that we have already explored, if you want further exploration of those topics, we are there for you. We're there to arrange trainings for you. And we'd like to accommodate every such request to the possible extent. And because in Toastmasters, learning never stops, and that's our target. We'll inshallah keep learning together. So everyone, thank you so much and good night.